Good evening. I'm Peter Alexander alongside Kristen Welker here in Washington, D.C., and we want to get right to some overnight breaking news. Devastating and deadly tornadoes ripped across the South and the Midwest in the middle of the night. Hardest hit the state of Kentucky, where a factory roof collapsed, and there are fears right now that dozens could be dead in that small community of Mayfield.
NBC's Morgan Chesky has been following the story all night long. Just a staggering death toll anticipated there. Morgan, what is the very latest?
Yeah, Peter, Kristen, good morning. And it will be a devastating day for communities in multiple states across the Southeast. We are learning more about that Mayfield, Kentucky tornado. This was a powerful storm that struck under the cover of darkness, as you can see. We know that 100 people were inside a candle factory when it struck. The governor saying at least 12 people could have perished at that one business alone. The death toll already at 50. He said it could climb even higher as more damage is seen throughout today. And this is a storm system that started in Arkansas and then made its way across multiple states overnight. We know that multiple tornadoes were reported, but National Weather Service officials are trying to determine if this was the work of a massive single tornado that caused so much damage. And as you can see, leave emergency responders still looking at this hour for potential survivors. We know that in one instance, debris was seen blown into the air as high as 30,000 feet. A nursing home in Mona Manor, Arkansas was also struck. We know at least one fatality was reported there. First responders rushing to get those elderly outside of that building safely before another potential collapse. And daylight will only bring more damage here. At this hour, you know that storm system still making its way across other states right now. This could go down, Peter, Kristen, as one of the worst storm outbreaks in December history.
And you can tell that just by looking at the scale and scope of those images, the path of destruction, just hard to fathom as we process this morning. Morgan, thank you very much for that.
Samara Theodore from our station WRC here in Washington, D.C. is tracking the severe weather threat that remains this morning. Samara, tell us what we still have in terms of a threat and what this storm looked like.
You know what? That is exactly what I want to talk about, the fact that this is still a very current and present threat, okay? Right now, we have 5 million people under a tornado watch throughout the show, stretching from parts of Alabama through Tennessee and Kentucky. I want to talk about areas like Livingston, Tennessee, where they have a tornado watch in effect right now, right on up into Monticello and into London, Kentucky. At this moment, they're still in the dark. They're 2 hours behind the East Coast. So if you do have friends that live in central Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, give them that wake-up call and let them know this is not over yet. We still have the threat for not only severe weather, but also the threat for tornadoes. Now, this line of storms is going to continue to make its way to the East Coast. So we're not done yet with this along the I-81 corridor this afternoon. By the time we hit 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to see this impacting the mid-Atlantic through the Carolinas, right on down into Georgia. Now, these storms are going to stretch as well all the way up into New England, but that severe threat stays south. So here's a look at the severe threat through today. 16 million people are at risk. We see this morning the storms that are currently moving through areas like Tennessee, including Chattanooga, Birmingham, up into parts of Kentucky, right on into Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio. That is then going to shift this afternoon, including areas like Atlanta, Charlotte, right on up into Roanoke, and here in Washington, D.C. What is possible with this? Wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, and we still have the threat for isolated tornadoes as we head through the afternoon. 81 million people could be impacted by the winds alone, and that's going to be dangerous as well. We've been seeing these wind advisories going off all last night and through today. Areas in this light blue is a wind advisory. Farther north, high wind warnings, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this. So again, this is going to be following us through our Saturday afternoon and through the Saturday night on the East Coast. We're going to keep a close eye on this. Peter?
All right, Samara Theodore, thank you very much. We'll check in with you when the Today Show begins a short time from now. What's stunning about this is we get a better sense of this storm is that this tornado, one of them at least, may have extended more than 200 miles, it appears at this time, which would break a 96-year-old record that had existed in the past. Think about the length. Most of these storms, these tornadoes usually go just a matter of miles.
Yeah, it's just staggering, the path of destruction and how many structures you can see there in these videos have been impacted, have just been knocked down and completely decimated. And you think about, we are talking about the staggering death toll, Peter, but talk about the people who are still missing. Think about the number of power outages, the people who have been displaced. Governor Andy Beshear was briefing earlier today and said that even he had not been able to contact some of his own loved ones. This is an historic event that is impacting everyone in the state.
That's exactly right, and we will be following it. We'll have much more this morning on the Today Show and throughout the day on NBCnews.com, MSNBC, and of course tonight on NBC Nightly News. This has been an NBC News Special Report.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.